Okay, I think we're real. Whew. Okay, I did it. We're alive. Why was that so difficult? Yay. Um, I have just fiddled with a little dial on my headset. Do I sound louder or quieter? Because honestly, there is no plus or minus on that thing and it bugs the hell out of me. Well, so hello everyone. Oh my god. Sorry for that monstrous scuff. Actually, can can you hear me? I'm I'm doubting myself. Ooh. Okay, am I quiet? How do I sound now? Do I sound louder or quieter? Sorry about the scuff, guys. Someone. Okay, it is better. Don't worry. I am planning to get like. Thank you, Tempe. Angel. Honestly, I am planning to get a better mic because I'm literally just working with a cheap headset. My volume is set very low. My quality is set very low. That's not intentional. I thought I fixed that. Hmm. I thought I fixed that. Let me just have a look at things. Okay. So I have an idea about what's going on. Um, oh, thank you, Draco. I have an idea what's going on with the imaging. I think it's because I'm on Wi-Fi. I will be trying to get a line put down, and it's probably a little bit. It's probably a little bit because I'm in the middle of nowhere. I will work on that. Don't you worry. I want to show off things as beautifully as I can. Um, but yeah, it's nice to see you all. Thank you for putting up with the scuff. I don't think there's much I can do about the video quality at the moment. I really think that's my end. It possibly is my internet speed. I think that'll take some more behind the scenes troubleshooting because I've gone through all the basic stuff. And yeah, hi everyone. It's lovely to see you all. I'm gotta be real. I am still amazed at how many people showed up. Just for like we're only 4 minutes in. It's crazy. It's kind of crazy. And for everyone who knows about the fun reading poll, we had a winner. We had a winner, a very clear winner. We had a tie for a while. I was very worried. We had a tie. Guys, stop it. I'm trying to be realistic. Shush, shush, shush. Do not. Oh, thank you, Tushy. Yeah. I had a poll up on Twitter for a couple of days. Spammed everyone I know about it just so I could get a ton of votes. But I mean, hey, it worked. We had a. Oh, that's okay, Tushy. drag cool showing off again. Um, yeah, don't worry, don't worry. This VOD will be going up on YouTube, and I will be posting that. So don't worry, people will be able to look at it later if they miss anything, if they want to have another look at stuff. Do not worry, we're all good there. Don't stress your little hearts out. Yeah, I am planning to look into getting some more stable video quality. I need to troubleshoot some ideas, really look into what's going on, because I am very much in the middle of nowhere. I am not a central girly. I am not in the main areas of things, which doesn't help, I'm sure, but we'll figure it out. And I will get a proper mic, a standing one, so hopefully my voice comes through more clearly. I gotta be real, I am known for being very, very quiet. Always through school I was like, this is the quiet one. People would always refer to me as quiet, so I do want to get a better quality mic ASAP, just to make sure no one is straining to hear me. And yeah, first we should show off the lovely model that my wonderful VTube mama made for me. Her name is Squishy. Well, her name is Squishu. I like to call her Squishy. She's so cute, and she doesn't make models often. She doesn't open commissions often. But I got really, really lucky to grab one of her limited slots. And I'll never... Squishy. Yes, I love calling her Squishy. It's such a cute way to call her. I've credited her, of course, so if you really want to follow and see if you can grab one, go ahead, live your dream. And she will throw in... She's just so kind. She's an amazing person to work with, and she's lovely. She showed up for my test stream yesterday, and it was really quite sweet. She rated and everything. And I thought we should show off how much wonderful work she put in. We'll be wearing one of the toggles for the whole stream, just to match the vibe, because the vampires did win. So we need to look at the part, you know? So first... I have my cute little hands. My cute hands. Look at me, aren't I so cute? Don't you want to give me everything? Doesn't she look so cute and precious? Look at that. Look at the cracks on the arms. She really went above and beyond. I only specified cracks on the face and one on the leg, but she just went all in. And the ball joints on the fingers, finger ball joints, you never see it. Oh God, I hope so, Alpine. If not, I'll probably have to go down to the shop. Don't worry. I've never seen such incredible ball joints before. I never see finger joints, or it's always just the wrists and the elbows, you know? So it's just lovely to see. And it pairs wonderfully with another one. But we'll get to that in a minute. For now, I can take my hat off. And my flowers, I can get all casual. I can dress down a bit. Of course, I still have my little beautiful pearly details in my hair. That is required. A lady has to keep her standards high. But it's a bit more casual. We can have a bit more of a chill time with it. We can just chill with it, you know? And I love the little errant hairs poking out, the little bit of a mess. You can't tame this hair perfectly. Hey Mofu, I did see you earlier, I think. Hi Carrie. It's lovely to see you all here. It's really lovely. I am a bit shocked. Yeah, we can't tame this hair perfectly. It's nice to have a bit of a mess. If a lady, hi Sin. If a lady is too perfect, she's unapproachable, you know. You need to have some flaws. Otherwise, people will just put you on a pedestal. And that's no good. Unless it's what you want. But it's no good if you're just starting to build up yourself. You need to start with flaws. You really cannot start with the ego full force, perfection full force. You need to start out with a bit of a mess. And we love mess here. But there are some things we don't love. Of course, we don't love everything. And for that we have a perfect face where we get absolutely horrified, absolutely disgusted. Exactly, Mike, exactly. This is for when we see something we just cannot put up with, that is just so disgusting. We have no energy or life to invest in this thing. It's just that horrid. It's perfect for that. And of course, we require that face for a lot of things in life, of course. Things are just so ridiculous these days. It's a necessity. This was one of the toggles that I required. I I know, I love you, Tempe. You're doing wonderful. Yeah, this was one of the toggles that I specifically asked for. And you can see why. It's it's really quite perfect. What more would you need? I'll take it off again, just so we can enjoy the face fully when we enjoy the other toggles. Because it does shadow things a little bit. We can't see my glossy eyes as well. And this one is for the more warm days, the more summery days. We can take our lovely coat off, our lovely cape, and we can show off our wonderful, wonderful sleeves and ribbons. Look at those ribbons. It really is coming too fast. I can feel it approaching so quickly. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm a winter girl through and through. But you have to be ready for it. You need to have a dress that can be versatile, like this. Oh, yeah. Southern Hemisphere. Hi, Chris. Are you here to be horrid? Yeah, it's my debut. Yeah, it's Southern Hemisphere gang. We have we have our summer during Christmas time, which is actually quite annoying for me because you know your TV shows and stuff, they always have Christmas with snow, and it makes me so mad because I want that. I want the pretty snow. She's got her priorities, okay, Chris? She has her priorities checked out a lot. She knows what she's doing right now. She's focused. She's in the zone. I mean, I guess that's true, Azel. But the thing is, we do get pretty intense down here. We're a we're a small island, so we get immensely humid, and we can get pretty stormy. So it's not like we're safe from that stuff either. Yeah, that stuff is still pretty prevalent for us. Hi, Lexi. Oh my god, hi, Lexi. I hope you're doing well today, hun. Still got my funny hands up touching my face. Yes, we have more toggles. This one is for when I'm totally shocked. My pupils go tiny. Oh my goodness. What have I just seen? I've seen the most horrifying thing. What could it be? It, yeah, it's extreme weather is horrific. I won't lie. I would much prefer the cold, but I know that some places that are getting the cold are not prepared for it, and that's incredibly dangerous. But oh my goodness, my pupils. Where have they gone? They're tiny. You can't even see their gloss. We gotta bring them back. We have to bring back the gloss. We have to see the pretties. There you go. You can see the beauty of them once again. They are so lovely. So, so lovely. And this is the shining star the toddler will be wearing especially for this wonderful story. The blood. The beautiful blood. Yes, it's gorgeous. It's so good. I'm not religious. You can't get me with that cross, Tushy. I'm immune. And the fun thing about this is... Oh, wrong one. I am still getting used to them. There we go. I found it. I found it after a minute. But yes, the blood works with the cape. It works with the cape. You can see the stains are on the cape too. Look if you look closely. Look, look, look. Isn't that cool? It's almost, I think it's almost it's its own layer. It's very, very amazing. It's so, so pretty. And hi Lulu. Oh my goodness. I hope you're having a good day. I know you said that life was a bit messy right now, but I hope it's good at least, even if it's messy. Are you? Are you? Oh my gosh. Mike, you're right. I am a bit of a messy eater. The spaghetti, the spaghetti, I don't usually eat the spaghetti. It's usually got stuff in it. I don't really like that stuff. I'm more of a, I prefer my cauliflower more than that. Cauliflower is more delicious. And it comes in a nice shell. A wonderful shell. No, the joke is that spaghetti is intestines and cauliflower is brain. I eat them. But I'm just really, I'm really amazed at how many people showed up. I know I have been talking myself up in chats. Yeah, Mike. I'm a little bit. That is who I am. I like them. Shrimp is pretty bloody and fun too. I need to try shrimp. I was a very picky eater, and and this I'm trying to become more exploratory with food. I'm trying to improve myself. And yeah, I'm just so so happy. I'm losing. I actually haven't had shrimp on the Barbie before. Maybe. Actually, that might not be bad. The problem is, I have family members who are allergic, and it would be a shared barbecue is the thing. So I don't think I could. But it's not a bad idea outside of that. I mean, there's got to be a reason why it's just such a popular phrase. There's got to be a reason. It's just, it has to be good. Um, well, it's been, oh my god, it's been 20 minutes. Oh my god, it's been 20 minutes. How have I been nattering on about my model for 20 minutes? Yeah. I I think you would all enjoy it if we got to the main attraction. Well, this is also the main attraction. There are two main attractions, but the wonderful reading. Dash. What the fuck does that mean? You memer. Chronically online bastard. Hi, Cry. How are you? I just showed off my toggles. Do you want to see them again, even though you rigged them so you've already seen them? I'll do it just for you, because you were so important to the process. Of course, Cry. Of course, everyone else gets to have a look. I'm already wearing the blood. I'm already wearing the blood. Of, as you can see, I'm a big fan. We're going to be wearing the blood for the reading because it's a vampire book, and I just feel like that would be. That's okay. That's okay, Alex. You have a chill time at work. I hope it's not too stressful. Oh, Virtue Vigilante. I don't think I know you, but I'm glad that you popped in. It's lovely to see you, and I hope you have a great time. We're going to be reading a vampire book in a minute. It's lovely that you decided to pop in. Very sweet of you. Yeah, I I also very much enjoy this book. It's very important to me. Historically, it's important, and I the book is about vampires. It's such a good book. It means so much to me as someone who is chronically ill and as someone who is a lesbian. If you know, you know. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. But let's go through the toggles one more time for our dear Cry who rigged this beautiful thing. Everyone, you should completely go and chronically lesbian? Yes, absolutely. Chronically a lesbian. You got me there. Completely. I will go through the toggles one more time just for you, Cry, because you deserve it. First. Shut up, Dash, you meme. But yes, we have our lovely hands. Our beautiful hands. As we were saying earlier, I am enamored with the breaks and the cracks on the arms, because I had only, on the reference, I only specify a crack on my face and on my leg. Now, this isn't a full body model. This is just sort of waist up with a little bit of the skirt, so we don't get to see my leg crack. Leg crack. But I do have the full body design completed, so maybe one day. But yeah, I didn't have the arm damage as part of the reference, but she put them in because it worked, and it looked just so good. And she's right, it looked incredible, and I am amazed at the little finger joints and how delicate those little fingies look. They're so delicate, so precious. You would never believe they could hold a knife and stab someone, or hold up a butcher's knife and chop someone into lovely edible pieces. No way. This isn't even my murdering outfit. I am feeling very fruity, thank you. We're always being fruity in here. That's the main goal. And then we have the lovely casual look. will we take our headpiece off? You're so right, Meta. It looks really nice and cash, as we said earlier. I didn't mention, but the little wisps that go down to my ears, that is also an addition I think she made. I can't remember putting that in, but it makes the twin tails flow so wonderfully. They really look so good. She's an incredible design person. If you really are interested in her, please do go down to my credits page and credits section and follow her, look at her VGN, keep an eye out for her commission slots. I cannot stress this enough. She's an incredible artist. You will have to find a rigger, but who cares when it looks that so good? It's just God, you know? And then we have the horrors. The horrors. The horrors. We see the horrors and we do not like them this time. This time the horrors are upsetting and annoying. These horrors we don't approve of. These horrors need to leave the room. Some horrors we adore. But some of these horrors are just not on. We don't love them. Some horrors just should not be approved of, if you know what I mean. And of course, I need to practice my evil laugh meta. I really do. I need to get a cool evil laugh going. Because it would work so well. I'll be practicing in the mirror when I have time, don't worry. I already have a great nya. 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 I mean, that's already beautiful. We should always say nya. No, cry. Are you talking about your nyas? Or your laugh? A nyahaha? Ooh. I like that idea. We might look into that. Huzzah! Cry, your laugh is magical. I love your laugh. Huzzah! Huzzah! My liege, the jester dances for us. Huzzah! Cry, your laugh is beautiful. I don't think I have ever... God, I can't think of a laugh that I've disliked. The thing about laughter that's real is it's so... Oji-sama laugh? I haven't practiced that either. I know, I really should have. Oji-sama laugh is on the list too. Do not worry. I will be flexing these vocals and getting these things for you. Do not concern yourself. I will deliver. And then what could it be that would upset our beautiful Priscilla, such a powerful woman? What on earth could concern her? She's so strong and cool. Taxes? You're right. It probably is taxes. It probably is taxes. That would upset anyone. It's so much work. Why don't they just send us like a statement on how much we need to give them and that's it? I do not enjoy the idea of work on taxes. I may be almost perfect, but my math skills are abysmal. Texas? No, we're talking about taxes. Clem, hi! Welcome, Clem. Your country. Oh no. Yeah, my fruity accent. I'm just too much for fruit. And then will just show me without the blood on. Just for cry, because I don't think she saw me without the blood. She didn't see me without the blood, and she deserves to see me beautiful and clean and gorgeous. To really me at my best. It is good for the joints. It loosens them up. It has best pulled pork. Oh, I love pork. Send me some. Of course, of course. Beautiful either way? Yes, obviously. Now, I am feeling like we're going to put the blood back on. And where is it? This. I'm feeling like wearing... I have not seen Texas Miku. There are so many Mikus going around right now. I love them all. I did see the Maori Mikus. The Maori Mikus make my heart sing. I know there was a Bunnings Miku, but she's cute. But the Maori Miku, you might have sent me a Texas Miku. There's so many Mikus. The Maori Miku, she is so beautiful. Precious woman. I adore her. She's just lovely. Now, I am going to post what we're reading in chat and pin it, so you guys can read along if you want to. I haven't figured out how to put it on the screen without obstructing too much of my setup. So if you guys want to read along in another tab, live your dream. You don't have to, but we'll put that in there and pin it. And that should stay there for the whole stream. So if anyone shows up, I will let you do it just this once, Dash, since you asked so nicely. So if you guys want to read along, I have been using the Gutenberg organization. They have public domain access to fiction and non-fiction books. So I am safe to read this book in its entirety. There is no danger here. We are in the clear. I can read as much as I please, and in fact, I am going to read the whole book every Tuesday until we finish it at this time. So if anyone wants to keep listening to the book and keep going, but doesn't want to read it themselves, just come back next week. You will get to enjoy the rest. Oh, Dracul, such a competitive man. Call your head or something. Let us just... Oh, it's Monday for you? It's Tuesday for me. My time is more real. We are going to... Let me just pull myself up a little bit. Pop over to the reading. Let me just make sure she looks lovely. I found... Now this background is by my beautiful background artist. I got this made early on because I've always wanted to do a reading stream. Apologies about the chat. It is a bit awkward. We'll figure that out next time. Yeah, it's incredible. I believe I've credited them as well. They were so excited to work with me. They are also on VGen, and they just, they knock it out of the park. They do have a more basic background package. This is the detailed one. So you don't need to get hyper detailed with them. They will just do a nice basic one. And they 3D modeled it out in Blender Yes, the bed is meant to look like a coffin, and it looks so good. This is my tattered mansion that I woke up in, and I'm doing my best. And the chair and table I actually got from a Ko-Fi page. I don't think I've linked those, but I will do that. That was a recent addition. I was like, oh no, I actually need things. I did look for a book stand so I could show myself reading the book, but I couldn't find one I liked, so that will have to be something down the path that I commission. I was thinking of more of an antique looking one. But that's something we can get to another time. Don't you worry. I am plotting many things, and none of them will be forgotten. So has everyone got the book pulled up that wants to read along? I don't want to start without you if you plan to read along with me. Oh, someone's ready. Thank you, Misha. Chash has gone very quiet. Oh, thank you, Tushy. Yeah, don't you worry. I will be enunciating and I will not mess up a word unless you think my accent is silly, like Mr. Dracul who can't understand accents. But don't you worry. I will be reading along. Oh, cry. I hope you have a wonderful art session for this. I hope you have a lovely... Juno, hi! You got here just in time for reading. You got here just in time. We're just about to start the book. We're just about to start. If you want to read along with me, it's in the pinned link. But you don't have to. Don't you stress. I cry if that's the model I'm thinking of. I wish you much luck. She's looking beautiful so far. Yes. Yes, that's what I thought. Boba. I love your drink themed models. They're all so cute, and I love how you use the liquid and the jelly looks. Just, very, very good. Okay, I will stop getting distracted, and I will actually read now. So, I will read the disclaimer by Project Gutenberg so everyone knows where we stand on that, just to be safe. So this ebook is for the use of anyone, anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost, and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away, or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook, or online at the website. If you are not located in the United States, you'll have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. Don't worry, I'm on top of things. We're safe. And we will start with the prologue. Upon a paper attached to the narrative, which follows, Dr. Hesselius has written a rather elaborate note, which he accompanies with a reference to his essay on the strange subject which the Miss MS eliminates. I don't know that abbreviation. I believe it might be Master or Mister. This mysterious subject he treats in that essay with his usual learning and acumen, and with remarkable directness and condensation. It will form but one volume of the series of that extraordinary man's collected papers. As I publish the case in this volume, simply to interest the laity, I shall forestall the intelligent lady who relates it in nothing, and after due consideration I have determined, therefore, to abstain from presenting any précis of the learned doctor's reasoning, or extract from his statement on a subject which he describes as involving, not improbably, some of the profoundest arcana of our dual existence and its intermediates. I know, we're reading a very old school book. It's going quite silly with the words. But don't worry, I'll know what the words are mostly saying. And at this point, I will tell you, we are reading the infamous vampire novel, Carmilla. I was anxious on discovering this paper to reopen the correspondence commenced by Dr. Hesselius so many years before with a person so clever and careful as his informant seems to have been. Much to my regret, however, I had found she had died in the interval. She probably could have added little to the narrative. Modern Prometheus? I never said we were reading Modern Prometheus. Get out of here, you nerd. He loves to poke at me. With, as far as I can pronounce, such conscientious particularity. In Styria, we, though by no means magnificent people, inhabit a castle or schloss. A small income in that part of the world goes a great way. I've been invaded by chronic memers. I should have expected this. 800 or 900 a year does wonders. Scantily enough, ours would have answered among wealthy at home. My father is English, and I bear an English name, although I never saw England. But here, in this lonely and primitive place, where everything is so marvellously cheap, I really don't see how ever so much more money would at all materially add to our comforts or even luxuries. It's okay, I know the English is scary, but we're not in England. Do not concern. My father was in the Austrian service and retired upon a pension and his patrimony, and purchased this feudal residence, and the small estate on which it stands, a bargain. Nothing can be more picturesque or solitary. It stands on a slight eminence in a forest. The road, very old and narrow, passes in front of its drawbridge, never raised in my time, and its moat, stocked with perch and sailed over by many swans, and floating on its surface white fleets of water lilies. Over all this, the schloss shows its many windowed front, its towers, and its Gothic chapel. The forest opens in an irregular and very picturesque glade before its gate, and at the right a steep Gothic bridge carries the road over a stream that winds in deep shadow through the wood. I have said that this is a very lovely place. Judge whether I say truth. Looking from the hall door towards the road, the forest in which our castle stands extends 15 miles to the right and 12 to the left. The nearest inhabited village is about 7 of your English miles to the left. The nearest inhabited schloss of any historic associations is that of old General Spielsdorf, nearly 20 miles away to the right. I have said the nearest inhabited village, because there is only 3 miles westward, that is to say in the direction of General Spielsdorf's Schloss. Oh, that was a mouthful to say. Spielsdorf's Schloss, a ruined village with its quaint little church now roofless, and the aisle of which are the mouldering tombs of the proud family of Karnstein, now extinct, who once moved the equally desolate chateau, which in the thick of the forest overlooks the silent ruins of the town. Respecting the cause of the desertion of this striking and melancholy spot, there is a legend which I shall relate to you another time. I must tell you now how very small is the party who constitute the inhabitants of our castle. I don't include servants or those dependents who occupy rooms in the buildings attached to the schloss. Listen and wonder. My father, who is the kindest man on earth, but growing old, and I, at the date of my story, only 19. 8 years have passed since then. I must tell you now. Oh, I lost my spot. This was Madame Perrodon, a native of Bern, whose care and good nature now in part supplied to me the loss of my mother, whom I do not even remember, so early I lost her. She made a third at our little dinner party. There was a fourth, Mademoiselle de la Fontaine, a lady such as you term, I believe, a finishing governess. She spoke French and German. Madame Perrodon, French, and broken English, to which my father and I added English, which, partly to prevent its becoming a lost language among us. Okay. Does anyone have any jokes? Oh, French is what got you, not the Among Us thing. I should have known. Yep, there we go. Among Us. It's a trigger word at this point with people. It latches to their brain. Incredible. It's kind of magical, really, how quickly people go, ooh, Among Us. And partially from patriotic motives, we spoke every day. The consequence was a Babel, at which strangers used to laugh, and which I shall make no attempt to reproduce in this narrative. And there were 2 or 3 young lady friends besides, pretty nearly of my own age, who were occasional visitors for longer or shorter terms, and these visits I sometimes returned. These were our regular social resources, but of course, there were chance visits from neighbours of only 5 or 6 leagues distance. My life was, notwithstanding, rather a solitary one, I can assure you. My governates had just so much control over me as you might conjecture such sage Persians would have in the case of a rather spoilt girl whose only parent allowed her pretty nearly her own way in everything. They were friends. Yes, we're doing that sort of narrative. They were friends who were obsessed with each other, yes. It's very cute. I say cute. This is a horrible gothic story where people die. The first occurrence in my existence, which produced a terrible impression upon my mind, which in fact never has been effaced, was one of the very earliest incidents of my life which I can recollect. Some people will think it is so trifling that it should not be recorded here. You will see, however, by and by, why I mention it. Death is cute sometimes. It can be. Thank you, Tushi. The nursery, as it was called, though I had it all to myself, was a large room in the upper story of the castle with a steep oak roof. I can't have been more than 6 years old when one night I awoke and, looking around the room from my bed, failed to see the nursery maid. Neither was my nurse there, and I thought myself alone. I was not frightened, for I was one of those happy children who are studiously kept in ignorance of ghost stories, of fairy tales, and of all such lore as makes us cover up our heads when the door cracks suddenly, or the flicker of an expiring candle makes the shadow of a bedpost dance upon the wall, nearer to our faces. You know, I don't think that's required to be scared of the dark. I think that's a child instinctual thing. I think you might have just been a very privileged and safe child who knew that no one was going to hurt them. I think it was the wealth that kept you feeling safe. Because technically, Squishy! Everyone say hi. Attack her with love. This is my lovely artist. Get her. Get her. Get the beautiful art lady. Attack her with love. Hi Squish. We're reading Carmilla. A beautiful vampire story. We're going to be reading it and enjoying it so much, and I'm so glad you could make it. So far, it's hard to summarize. So far we are learning about a very privileged little girl. A very, very privileged little girl. Nothing bad has happened to her, and she knows this, and she thinks she is so lucky and sweet and cute. And we are just learning of her first little spooky encounter with something. I was not actually a safe feeling child. I have had anxiety my whole life. I actually was in the hospital when I was very, very young, so unfortunately this isn't me. But it sounds nice, doesn't it? It sounds very nice. We can dream, huh? Where was I? I was vexed and insulted at finding myself, as I conceived, neglected, and I began to whimper, preparatory to a hearty bout of roaring, when to my surprise I saw a solemn but very pretty face looking at me on the bed, and drew me towards her, smiling. We know who this is, don't we? This is our beautiful vampire lady. She's found her girl. Sure, her girl is only 6 years old now, but this is vampires we're talking about. They're silly like that. She's found her, this lovely little angelic child, and she says, "Oh, how lovely. I want it." But she's going to wait, and she's going to be careful. If you're hungry, go eat. Oh my gosh. Silly one. It was that of a young lady who was kneeling, with her hands under the coverlet. I looked at her with a kind of pleased wonder and ceased whimpering. She caressed me with her hands and lay down beside me on the bed and drew me towards her, smiling. I felt immediately delightfully soothed and fell asleep again. I was wakened by a sensation, as if 2 needles ran into my breast very deep at the same moment, and I cried loudly. The lady started back, with her eyes fixed on me, and then slipped down upon the floor, and as I thought, hid herself under the bed. She's already chosen her. I was now for the first time frightened. And I yelled with all my might and main, Nurse, nursery maid, housekeeper all came running in, and hearing my story they made light of it, soothing me all they could the meanwhile. But child as I was, I could perceive that their faces were pale with an unwonted look of anxiety, and I saw them look under the bed and about the room, and peep under the tables, and pluck open cupboards. With the housekeeper's nurse whispered to the nurse, "Lay your hand along that hollow in the bed. Someone did lie there, so as sure as you did not. The place is still warm." I remember the nursery maid petting me, and all three examining my chest, where I told them I felt the puncture, and pronouncing that there was no sign visible that any such thing had happened to me. I remember the nursery maid patting me. The housekeeper and the two other servants who were in charge of the nursery remained sitting up all night, and from that time a servant always sat up in the nursery until I was about 14. So she's ready now. The vampire can come and get her now. She's ready. I was very nervous for a long time after this. A doctor was called in. He was pallid and elderly. How well I remember his long, saturnine face, slightly pitted with smallpox, and his chestnut wig. For a good while every second day he came and gave me medicine, which of course I hated. The morning after I saw this apparition, I was in a state of terror, and could not bear to be left alone, daylight though it was, for a moment. I remember my father coming up and standing at the bedside, and talking cheerfully and asking the nurse a number of questions, laughing very heartily at one of the answers, and patting me on the shoulder, and kissing me, and telling me not to be frightened, that it was nothing but a dream and could not hurt me. But I was not comforted, for I knew the visit of the strange woman was not a dream, and I was awfully frightened. I was a little consoled by the nursery maid's assuring me that it was she who'd come and looked at me and lain down beside me in the bed, and that I must have been half dreaming not to have known her face. But this, though supported by the nurse, did not quite satisfy me. I remembered, in the course of that day, a venerable old man in a black Cossack coming into the room with the nurse and housekeeper, and talking a little to them, and very kindly to me. His face was very sweet, and gentle, and he told me they were going to pray, and joined my hands together and desired to me say softly while they were praying, "Lord, hear all good prayers for us, for Jesus' sake." Doesn't Mike Crow do that all the time, though? Like, doesn't he just hit you all the time? I feel like that's normal for him. I think these were the very words, for I often repeated them to myself, and my nurse used for years to make me say them in my prayers. I remembered so well the thoughtful, sweet face of that white-haired old man in his black Cossack as he stood in that rude, lofty brown room with the clumsy furniture of a fashion 300 years old about him, and the scanty light entering its shadowy atmosphere through the small lattice. He kneeled, and the three women with him, and he prayed aloud with an earnest, quivering voice. For what appeared to me a long time, I forgot all my life preceding that event, and for some time after it is all obscure also. But the scenes I have just described stand out vivid as the isolated pictures of the phantasmagoria surrounded by darkness. We've made it to chapter 2. How are we all feeling? Oh dear, I'm looking at my dropped frames and my kilobyte percentages. This is quite unsteady looking. I'll have to put something in because I am on Wi-Fi, and I do wonder if that lack of steadiness is the problem. I will discuss this with someone. Do not worry. Do not worry. I am fully ready to discuss this with someone. I am now going to tell you something so strange that it will require all your faith. Yes, it is a slow burn. Very slow burn. It's quite good. I enjoy it, and historically, it's one of the first vampire stories recorded. Ethernet? I'll look into that. Thank you, Hazel. I we wanted to, because it's just such a hassle putting down cables and things in this house. It might take a while before I am on Ethernet. I'll do a couple, probably do a few more streams on Wi-Fi, but we'll get there. Do not stress. I am. Oh, thank you, Tushy. I'm working very hard to keep my voice so stable and smooth for everyone. I do enjoy presenting and speaking. I just don't like being looked at when I do it, so being a VTuber is ideal. And it's fun being a pretty girl. A pretty little monster doll. I am now going to tell you something so strange that it will require all your faith in my veracity to believe my story. That's funny. I thought that earlier bit was quite strange too. How much stranger can we get, really? Oh, Dash, Mum is in control of things like that. And she very much wants us to sort of put them in the walls, so it's all tidy and nice. She doesn't want any of that mess because we own the house now. We own this house now, and she wants to make it really nice and invest in it. So I get it. I get what she's going for. It's just we won't be doing something like that, unfortunately, even though it would be a quick fix. I wonder if I could convince her to do that until we get the things put in the walls. Maybe. We'll have a chat with her later, don't worry. It is not only true, nevertheless, but truth of which I have been an eyewitness. It was a sweet summer evening, and my father asked me, as he sometimes did, to take a little ramble with him along that beautiful forest vista, which I have mentioned as lying in front of the Schloss. Such a funny word. They really are a fan of the word Schloss, aren't they? They don't have something better. I think this author was just very much into that word. General Spelsdorf cannot come to us so soon as I had hoped, said my father as we paused our walk. He was to have paid us a visit of some weeks, and we had expected his arrival next day. He was to have brought with him a young lady, his niece and ward, Mademoiselle Renfeld, whom I had never seen, but whom I had heard described as a charming girl, and in whose society I had promised myself many happy days. I was more disappointed than a young lady living in a town or a bustling neighbourhood could possibly imagine. This visit and the new acquaintance it promised had finished my daydream for many weeks. And how soon does he come? I said. Not till August. Not for 2 months, I dare say, he answered. And I am very glad now, dear, that you never knew Mademoiselle Renfeld. Oh, that's ominous. And why? I asked, both mortified and curious. Her father has a funny way of phrasing things. Because the poor young lady is dead, he replied. I quite forgot I had not told you. He'd forgotten. He just said that he was glad she had never met him, under the assumption that she already knew. What a mess this man is. Oh, he's a disaster. I quite forgot I had not told you, but you were not in the room when I received the General's letter this evening. Oh my goodness, this man. I was very much shocked. General Spelsdorf, I'm still reeling. That's such a funny turn. What a funny way of doing it. Had mentioned in his first letter, 6 or 7 weeks before, that she was not so well as he would wish her. Okay, she was sick. We've seen this before with vampires. They slow feed them. But there was nothing to suggest the remotest suspicion of danger. Again, we also see this. It doesn't seem concerning. The lady just seems tired and a bit sickly, but you assume she'll recover like it's just a cold. This is normal for vampire feedings. We know this. Here is the general's letter, he said, handing it to me. I am afraid he is in great affliction. No, you don't say. His daughter died and he's unhappy. Very funny. This man has such a way with words. The letter appears to me to have been written very nearly in distraction. No way. Really? Really? Gosh, this is amusing. Squishy! Thank you, Han. I do appreciate that. It's good, very good to know, especially because I want to read things quite frequently. It's good to know my voice is good for it. We sat down on a rude bench. I have to say, I wonder if rude means something like old or worn in this sort of time period. Because I can't imagine a bench being rude in the modern sense. And it's sort of fitting with the style of writing. We'll look into it later, won't we? Of course we will. It's good to learn these things. It gets context to things. It's very important to help you understand a story. If you are confused about things like this, it's good to learn. No harm in that. Under a group of magnificent, well, the same as the modern way, R-U-D-E. That's why it's so funny. Magnificent lime trees. Ooh. I haven't seen a lime tree, I think, ever. I wonder if they look much different to lemon trees. I don't suppose they would, because they're so closely related, aren't they? The sun was setting with all its melancholy splendour behind the sylvan horizon, and the stream that flows beside our house and passes under the steep old bridge I have mentioned wound through many a group of noble trees, almost at our feet, reflecting in its current the fading crimson of the sky. Toshi! Oh, you've never seen one? You and your problems with my accent, Dracul. No, I know what rouge is. I know what rouge is. I've seen the bat. We've all seen the bat. We know what rouge is. One day Dracul will understand my accent. Yeah, I know. That's why it's funny. Omni! Hello, Omni. Everyone, Omni is a wonderful fellow horror appreciator. He makes lovely artwork, and we love to share horror with each other. I'm so glad to see you here, Omni. Where was I? General Spelsdorf's letter was so extraordinary, so vehement, and in some places so contradictory. There we go. That I read it twice over, the second time aloud to my father, and was still unable to account for it except by supposing that grief has unsettled his mind. Yes, Omni. NZ post this to scare Dracul. You send him a picture of the NZ map and he gets scared. He loses his mind. Yes, more horror. We love our horror babies here. We love horror appreciators. This is a horror safe zone. It said, I have lost my darling daughter, for as such I loved her. During the last days of dear Bertha's illness, I was not able to write you. Before then, I had no idea of her danger. I have lost her, and now learn all too late. She died in the peace of innocence, and in the glorious hope of a blessed futurity. The fiend who had betrayed our infatuated hospitality has done it all. Slacko. Slacko, you silly goose. You're getting a bit of a track record. Oh, it's really nice that you could make it, my lovely squishy. I'm glad you're enjoying it so much. I think. I thought I was receiving into my house innocence, gaiety, a charming companion for my lost Bertha. Heavens! What a fool I have been! I thank God my child died without a suspicion of the cause of her sufferings. Ooh. Horror safe zone, what I mean by that is, it's very difficult sometimes to enjoy horror in a lot of mainstream circles because of what we adore of it. Like say you posted she had a beautiful horror artwork in a zone that was very mainstream, like just an open Discord or something, I don't know, and you wanted to share just how beautiful it was to you. Like maybe the blood was well done, or maybe the fangs were incredible. A lot of people, when they see things like that, they react with disgust, or the mods will delete it. They won't even say, please put a warning up. It can be quite upsetting. It's very hard to find people who adore horror in a very honest, adoring, truly artful sense. Oh, yes, I know, Misha. I wanted to explain it anyway, because it's something I do struggle with in connecting with people who enjoy horror. This isn't really a very good purely reading stream, but I'm having too much fun talking to chat too. Well, I am very happy that this lovely child that we are talking about didn't know that her dear friend killed her. This is something nice. Because it would be very sad. It would be very sad if you were slowly withering away and dying, and you found out that your friend was literally draining your life force. It sounds quite depressing, doesn't it? It is quite good that she's remained innocently unaware. I respect horror because it usually explores the bleak brutality of reality. I have to say it depends. Some of the brutality I enjoy. I think I greatly enjoy surrealist work. I like to be baffled. I like things that are ununderstandable by humanity. Like the color out of space. That's not very easy to understand. Like, if you want to be really boring about it, you can say, oh, a horrible monster alien thing came in and fucked up everyone's bodies with radiation. But that's really boring. Imagine you were stuck in that situation. Your body was unmaking itself and all sorts of horrible things. I think that's just so beautiful. I think that's really lovely, and I think I would enjoy. I also very much enjoy parasites. People who know, they know that I have an unhealthy joy surrounding parasites. I I just incredibly, there's something just incredibly entrancing about something that invades your body and destroys it like that. It just gets to me. It's very much an interesting thing. Your mind is interesting. Thank you, Omni. That's very sweet. I'm guessing you enjoy Mandela. Actually, the problem with Mandela Catalog is it's very American. It's very American, and that takes me out because a lot of your American focused stuff is very cultural heavy, actually. There's a lot of framing that is required, a lot of being able to see yourself in the framing, and that kind of takes me out. If I got the disease from Song of Sa, you'd be very happy. Depends. I'm not sure. That's an interesting thought exercise. The parasite demon. The demon in me wants the candy. Does he? So fucking true to American. Yes. I am much more willing to watch something that is Filipino, something that is Thai, something that is Aboriginal, than something that is American. There's just, mm, I just, mm, Americans. Mm, I just can't do it. You have to be like someone like, God, who? Filipino. Filipino, yes, we love Filipino. I should. I'm terrible at remembering things. What if I look up a Filipino horror just for you, Squishy, and tell you my favorite one that I can find? Because I've watched a fair amount of international horror. So you are into Ratatouille? I've never seen that movie, hun. I've never seen that movie. I'm gonna be real. It hit me at the point where I was like, I don't really need kids' movies anymore. While US culture and content is just pervasive and everywhere, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. I will watch Ratatouille. I do. I mean, given the fact that it's like, I feel like I have to. The Wailing. Yes, I've seen that. The Wailing is so good. The Wailing is so fucking good. The Rats Cook. The Rats Cook. Is that a movie or are you just being silly about Ratatouille? I am slowly making my way through a lot of international horror, and what I really like is when it brings in very realistic traditional elements because I don't know that stuff, and I get to learn about these traditional groups and traditional people, and I get to learn about the country's politics and stuff surrounding things like that, and it's really cool. It's such a good layer. Because I gotta be real, I'm a white ass bitch. I'm so white. I am chronically stuck inside because of my condition quite often. Um, so I don't get to learn about different cultures very often except through media like that. And it's just so beautiful. Healing? Healing. Oh, I'll need to look into that. Thank you for the recommendation. We've gone kind of off the rails, haven't we? That's okay though. We're having fun. I will make a note of healing. Do not worry. I also, one I need to do, watch, it is an American one. I need to, if you want to have a horror culture, Suko. Suko. Uh-huh. Hearing you swear in your beautiful voice is a mind trip. Oh, thank you. I hope the contrast is so fun. The contrast is so cute. I bet. I have got healing and Suko. Thank you, guys. I do very much enjoy this. I don't come from a household that enjoys horror, so I get all my recommendations from you lovely internet people. So it's a big, big help. I will try to get back to reading now. Um, she is gone without so much as conjecturing the nature of her illness and the accursed passion of the agent of all this misery. Oh, you got to go? Bye bye, Clem. Don't you worry. If you are wondering about it later, I will be posting the VOD. So don't you stress. Don't you fuss your little head about it. Oh, hydrate, yes. I do need to add things like that. But don't you worry, I am taking care of myself. I'm doing sneaky little muting of myself and having drinks. I have my water bottle right with me, and I've been making my way through it. I didn't want to break the flow too much, so I sneaky little muting of myself. And the accursed passion of the agent of all this misery. I devote my remaining days to tracking and extinguishing a monster. Ooh. He's gone all Van Helsing on this guy. He's gonna track down the murderer of his daughter. That's kind of a good vibe. Father of the Year. He didn't know that she was a monster, but how could he? She looked like a person. And now he's gonna track down her and kill her just to save his little daughter's soul from hell. I assume he's going to do it because of that, and also to vengeance him. I think that's so precious. Round of applause to this guy. Champion father. We love him. I am told I may hope to accomplish my righteous and merciful purpose. Ooh, someone's helping him. This book, I will find out for you. It was the copyright says 1872. So it's not that recent. It's the 1800s. At present, there is scarcely a gleam of light to guide me. I curse my conceited incredulity, my despicable affection of superiority, my blindness, my obstinacy, all too late. I'm sure there are older vampire books, but this is one of the very first recorded ones. And I think that's really important because it's also a woman. A woman vampire was one of the first recorded vampires in a story. Isn't that so cool? Feminism win. Girl power. cannot write or talk collectedly now. I am distracted. Understandable, good sir. We are reading Carmilla, the wonderful story Carmilla. I will say to new people, we can only read public domain books. Just because of copyright, I don't want to get things flagged or anything. I am hoping Carmilla's a very good book. I have to recommend it to anyone who enjoys a nice gothic, drenched in melancholy and sorrow, and a bit of dark romance. It does predate Dracula rather. It is older than Dracula. Yes, yes. She should be more famous than him, but you know, he's a man. We know how that works. We all know how that works. So soon as I shall have a little recovered, I mean to devote myself for a time to inquiry which may possibly lead me as far as Vienna. Oh, that's quite far. Italy. Castlevania. She was a bitch. She was, but she was hot. You know, I think we can let it go a little bit. I am a big proponent of let women do wrongs. I don't think women should be perfect. I think they should fuck up a lot. Sometime in the autumn, 2 months hence, or earlier if I live, I will see you, that is if you permit me. I will then tell you all that I scarce dare put upon paper now. Farewell. Pray for me, my dear friend. Women's rights and women's wrongs. You're so correct. Yes, absolutely. Women's rights and women's wrongs. We all know that's important. It's okay. Tushy is a mod. She is keeping an eye on you. Don't worry. She knows the rules. She'll keep you in check. This is an 18 plus stream. So we don't need to worry too much. We're not going to be babying around our words. I don't want to censor myself, and I don't want chat to feel like they have to hold back too much either. You know, just being respectable and still pleasant. But, you know, we want to talk like people. We want to talk like the adults we are. In these terms ended this strange letter. Though I had never seen Bertha Reinfeldt, my eyes filled with tears at sudden intelligence. I was startled, as well as profoundly disappointed. I will allow cock this just once. My trigger finger was itching a little bit in my lesbian brain. But then I realized some women have cocks, and we should be nice about it. The sun had now set, and it was twilight. Oh, twilight mentioned in a vampire book. Let's go. Actually, no, let's not go. Everyone donate to the tribe that Stephanie Meyer destroyed, because she didn't give any of the benefits, and she mischaracterized their tribe and completely destroyed their credibility. And I'm pretty sure that their base is... We're pretty sure their base is going underwater. Like, I think they're going to flood quite easily where they are, and they need some support. So if you're able to, please donate to them. I don't have a link. I don't have a link. But please, if you are able to donate to anything, seek them out and support them. Thank you. I would like Twilight a lot more if it wasn't racist and puritanical. Simple as that. I need a 15-minute rant from me about Twilight. I'll need to do a bit more research. I don't actually like Twilight enough to know about it. We saving our brain space over here for the things we enjoy. Goth vampire lady and a tomboy werewolf? If it's still puritanical and racist, I don't actually think I would. I think that's kind of the important factors for me. Like, I know we're all like, yay, I love women. But, at the end of the day, the vibes are off. The sun had now set, and it was twilight, yes, by the time I had returned the general's letter to my father. It was a soft, clear evening, and we loitered. Oh, don't tell the police that they're loitering. I heard that's a crime. Twilight parody movie? I watched that when I was a lot younger. The humor's not for me. I can see what they're going for, but it's not my vibe. You will soon learn that I have decided my opinions on a few things already, and I'm not shy about them. I find there's no point in being shy about what you think about things. I'm not very good at lying or pretending I don't believe certain things. So it's just how I am. We loitered, speculating upon the possible meanings of the violent and incoherent sentences which I had just been reading. We had nearly a mile to walk before reaching the road that passes the Schlossmädchen in front, and by that time the moon was shining brilliantly. If I was a better person, I would have a Schloss counter. I think you have some blood. I have some blood on me. Oh dear, yes. I currently only have the one outfit, and I don't have a laundry. Schlossmädchen, yes, let's go. Schlossmädchen. So I am planning to get some more clothes. Schloss, it's another word for castle. To a manor. The author just really likes the word Schloss. It's actually spelled S-C-H-L-O-S-S. I believe it might be German, just by the way the word is framed. Sort of just the coherency of it. But I'm not 100%. It's definitely not English, we'll be real about that. Yes, Schloss. It's a great word. It's very fun to say. I can see why the author likes it. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Take a shot every time I say Schloss. Oh no. Danger, danger. Scary. I do not support bad drinking habits. Oh. You have fun, but it's not my responsibility. I'm not endorsing your drinking game. Ah, get him. Toshi, attack. Thank you, Toshi. You're such an angel. She had her finger on the trigger. She was ready. German term for a building similar to a chateau, palace, or manor house. I knew it was German. I'm so good at that. Toshi is really quite good. She has her finger on the trigger all the time. She needs a cowgirl model outfit, really, for how quick she is to fire. Toshi cowgirl win? Tushy cowgirl in the chaps with the denim jeans and a crop top. When? You guys are so distracting. And by that time, the moon was shining brilliantly. I don't think she's Texan. She's just, I don't actually know. Tushy, you haven't told me, but that's okay. No, I was just making a joke about how quick on the trigger she is, so she can be a cowgirl, shooting them like nothing. Oh, go on, Tushy, treat yourself. At the drawbridge we met Madame Perrodon and Mademoiselle de la Fontaine, who had come out, without their bonnets, to enjoy the exquisite moonlight. No bonnets, oh my goodness. No bonnets, here out in the open, ooh. We heard their voices gabbling in animated dialogue as we approached. We joined them at the drawbridge and turned about to admire with them the beautiful scene. The glade through which, born and raised, not currently there. There's a reason. It's in your blood. It's in your blood. You've got that Texan girl in you. You can never escape that power. Oh, how long? Hour and a half. So guys, I think I'm going to go for 2.5 hours. So we've got a bit more time. I just wanted to check what we were doing and where my energy was at. But I think we can do 2.5. So we've got a bit more time in us. We joined them at the drawbridge and turned about to admire with them the beautiful scene. The glade through which we had just walked lay before us. At our left, the narrow road wound away under clumps of lordly trees and was lost to sight amid the thickening forest. At the right, the same road crosses the steep and picturesque bridge near which stands a ruined tower which once guarded that pass, and beyond the bridge an abrupt eminence rises, covered with trees, and showing in the shadows some grey ivy-clustered rocks. Over the sward and low grounds, a thin film of mist was stealing like smoke, marking the distances with a transparent veil, and here and there we could see the river faintly flashing in the moonlight. No softer, sweeter scene could be imagined. The news I had just heard made it melancholy, but nothing could disturb its character of profound serenity and the enchanted glory and vagueness of the prospect. My father, who enjoyed the picturesque, and I stood looking in silence over the expanse beneath us. The two good governesses, standing a little behind us, discoursed upon the scene and were eloquent upon the moon. Madame Perrodon was fat, middle-aged, and romantic, and talked and sighed poetically. She sounds lovely. She sounds like an angel, I think. Madame Perrodon, we like her. Mademoiselle de la Fontaine, in right of her father, who was a German, assumed to be psychological, metaphysical, and something of a mystic, now declared that when the moon shone with a light so intense, it was well known that it indicated a special spiritual activity. You know, there is power in a full moon. There is immense power in a full moon. She's not completely wrong on that front. The effect of the full moon in such a state of brilliancy was manifold. It acted on its dreams. It acted on lunacy. Yes, lunacy. That comes from the word luna, the moon. That is actually connected to the word lunatic. Not a good word, but it was assumed the full moon was connected to the madness. It acted on nervous people. It had marvellous physical influences connected with life. Mademoiselle related that her cousin, who was mate of a merchant ship, oh, good for him, what an important rank, having taken a nap on deck on such a night, laying on his back with his face full in the light on the moon, had wakened after a dream of an old woman clawing him by the cheek with his features horribly drawn to one side, and his countenance had never quite recovered in its equilibrium. Features horribly drawn to one side. I believe he had a stroke. Because you know how when some people have strokes, one side of their body slouches. It loses the tension. I believe that's what they're meaning. The moon this night, she said, is full of idyllic and magnetic influence. And see, when you look behind you at the front of the Schlossmädchen, how all its windows flash and twinkle with that silvery splendor, as if unseen hands had lighted up the rooms to receive fairy guests. Oh, she's very romantic too, in a different way. There are indolent styles of the spirits, in which, indisposed to talk ourselves, the talk of others is pleasant to our listless ears. And I gazed on, pleased with the tinkle of the ladies' conversation. I can understand that. It's pleasant to be quiet and just listen to people you love, chatter on about their lives and what they enjoy. Just taking it in, it's quite pleasant. I have got into one of my moping moods tonight, said my father after a silence. And, quoting Shakespeare, whom by way of keeping up our English he used to read aloud. What a funny lad. He said, in truth, I know not why I am so sad. It wearies me, you say it wearies you. But how I got it, I came by it. Sir, you're sad because your friend's daughter died and that you believe your friend has gone mad with grief. I feel like it's quite clear why you're sad, but I did enjoy the Shakespeare interlude. I forget the rest, but I feel as if some great misfortune were hanging over us. I suppose the poor General's afflicted letter has had something to do with it. Oh, he can connect the dots a bit. Maybe there's something to him. At this moment, the unwonted sound of carriage wheels and many hoofs upon the roads arrested our attention. They seemed to be approaching from the high ground overlooking the bridge, and very soon the equipage emerged from that point. 2 horsemen first crossed the bridge, then came a carriage drawn by 4 horses, and 2 men rode behind. It seemed to be the travelling carriage of a person of rank, and we were all immediately absorbed in watching that very unusual spectacle. It became, in a few moments, greatly more interesting, for just as the carriage had passed the summit of the steep bridge, one of the leaders, taking fright, communicated his panic to the rest, and after a plunge or two, the whole team broke into a wild gallop together, and dashing between the horsemen who rode in front, came thundering along the road towards us with the speed of a hurricane. That's concerning. Horses are not people you want to be underfoot of. I know this. I've been kicked by a horse. I had to go to hospital. It was not good. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10. The excitement of the scene was made more painful by the clear, long-drawn screams of a female voice from the carriage window. Yes, it wasn't great, Tushy. It made me have to get glasses because I was kicked in the head. I'm shocked it didn't do more damage. Although maybe it did. Ooh. And throughout my childhood, I was plagued with seizures. I I have grown out of them, but you know, it's not great. Do not recommend this. Horses are not people. I don't think you know how a fun phrase works, but I appreciate the knowledge. Where is the romance in your soul? The excitement of the scene was made more painful by the clear, long-drawn screams of a female voice from the carriage window. We all advanced in curiosity and horror, me rather in silence, the rest with various ejaculations of terror. Hmm. Hmm. So in Old English, ejaculation just meant shouting, but it's still very, very funny. It's still very, very, very funny. It's very good. I think I'm glad we all paused on that one to enjoy it well. Our suspense did not last long. Mm, sort of. Um, when you use that word, when you use ejaculate to say shouting and such, it means you're releasing your emotion in a sense. Like you have an explosion of intense emotion, and so your body just pushes the emotion out of you through your vocal cords. That's why they use that word specifically. Project? Well, that implies sort of project implies some sort of a kind of intent. It's kind of instinctual more, I believe. Oh, oh, thank you. I'm glad my voice is so pleasant to people. I'm glad that I'm hearing this. It's a very kind thing to say. I completely understand what you mean, Omni. I have a few people that I also listen to relax and just enjoy. It's a very sweet thing to say. Just before you reach the castle drawbridge, on the route they were coming, there stands by the roadside a magnificent lime tree. Another one! They have a lot of limes here. I hope they're using them well. On the other stands an ancient stone cross, at sight of which the horse is now going at a pace that was perfectly frightful. That's a good phrase. Perfectly frightful. Doesn't that sound fun? That feels very fun to say. Swerved so as to bring the wheel over the projecting roots of the tree. That's not good. I do imagine some of these horses may become injured from this drama. This is a problem with horses. They are easily panicked. If you don't know how to control a panicked horse, you might not want to handle horses. Because in a panicked horse, the voice is so comforting, it's been lulled to sleep. That's so sweet. Thank you. Oh, Tushy. Angelic, really. ASMR horror win. Hmm. I will ponder it. I will ponder it. I do want to get into sort of. She was going gay in the server. I do want to commission some ASMR scripts at some point. Some sort of horror leaning ones. Because I know there's a lot of sweet, soothing ones, but I want some horror. I want to be silly with it. I say silly. I mean, like, I want to mess around in that space. And I think that would be really fun. Like, I mean, obviously, the first thing you think of when you think of horror ASMR is Yandere Girlfriend. A Yandere Girlfriend. And that would be so easy. But I would like to delve further into it. I knew it was coming. I covered my eyes, unable to see it out, and turned my head away. She is not the sort to watch a train crash. She is not germ-coated. She does not laugh at car accidents. At the same moment, I heard a cry from my lady friends who had gone on a little. Oh dear. One of those unhinged makeup tutorials which extra stabbing you. I get what you mean, but I actually don't wear makeup, so I feel like I wouldn't be able to sell it very well. Could have a silly one. Could trap someone in your house of mysteries and tricks. Oh, I'm chasing them down in my horrible mansion. I see. That's a fun one. Many good ideas, thank you. Curiosity opened my eyes, and I saw a scene of utter confusion. 2 of the horses were on the ground. I don't think those hurt horses are going to make it. They may have already died from heart attacks or some such thing, but we probably are going to kill some of these horses if they are still alive. Horses are fragile. You can't really fix them very easily for a lot of their things. The carriage lay upon its side with 2 wheels in the air. Ooh, that's concerning. The men were busy removing the traces, and a lady with a commanding air and figure had got out and stood with clasped hands, raising the handkerchief that was in them every now and then to her eyes. Oh, very modest, very demure, very mindful. She is keeping her cool in this dangerous situation. She is a true lady. Through the carriage door was now lifted a young lady who appeared to be lifeless. Yes, very demure, very mindful. My dear old father was already beside the elder lady with his hat in hand, evidently tendering his aid in the resources of his Schloss. The lady did not appear to hear him, or to have eyes for anything but the slender girl who was being placed against the slope of the bank. I approached. The young lady was apparently stunned, but she was almost certainly not dead. This is good. A dead young lady on your own property is not fun. If you have no way to dispose of her, if it wasn't intended, it's not a great time. Thank you for the count, hon. You're doing amazing work. My father, who piqued himself on being something of a physician. Oh, I see how we are describing him then. He believes he knows his first aid, his skills. He is a man of solidarity and knowledge, and he has picked up a few tricks around the place, but he is not really educated on healthcare. At this time period, that's fine. But I do say, be wary of a man who says he knows things and acts like he knows things, but shows no sign of this knowledge. He will take control of a situation, and he might make it a lot worse. Yeah. Had just had his fingers on her wrist and assured the lady, who declared herself her mother, that her pulse, though faint and irregular, was undoubtedly still distinguishable. I have so many opinions. I have so many opinions, and I'm overflowing with them. I can't help it. The lady clasped her hands and looked upwards, as if in a moment of gratitude. But immediately she broke out again in that theatrical way, which I believe is natural to some people. This is true. Some people just like getting out their emotions very intensely. There's nothing totally wrong with that. I don't actually hate it. It just depends on the context and the case by case sort of thing. She was what is called a fine looking woman for her time of life, and must have been handsome. Ooh. So, in this time period, as long as it's not toxic, yes, yes, yes. So, when you describe a young lady as handsome, she's a bit of a sharp woman, a woman of strength, of character. She isn't soft and cute, but she isn't ugly. She has a power and standing to her that you would see in gentlemen, if that makes sense. She has that kind of beauty. It is. It's very gorgeous. I love that. It's really, really nice. She was tall, but not thin. And dressed in black velvet. Ooh. Now, this would be real velvet, not faux velvet. Faux velvet didn't exist. So this would be real velvet. Looked rather pale, but with a proud and commanding countenance, though now agitated strangely. She's still a young lady, but she does maybe have a bit of a dummy vibe to her. She could probably pull that out. Who was ever being so born to calamity, I heard her say, with clasped hands. Hi, oh, by the way, hi Banshee, I'm so sorry. I was in the zone, so to speak. But it's lovely to see you. As I came up, here am I, on a journey of life and death, in prosecuting which to lose an hour is possibly to lose all. My child will not have recovered sufficiently to resume her route for who can say how long. I must leave her. I cannot, dare not delay. How far on, sir, can you tell, is the nearest village? I must leave her there, and shall not see my darling, or even hear of her till my return, 3 months hence. I plucked my father by the coat and whispered earnestly in his ear, "Oh, papa, pray ask her to let her stay with us. It would be so delightful. Do pray. If madam will entrust her child to the care of my daughter and of her good governante, Madame Paradon, and permit her to remain as our guest under her charge until her return, it will confer a distinction and obligation upon us, and we shall treat her with all the care and devotion which so sacred a trust deserves." "I cannot do that, sir. It would be to task your kindness and chivalry too cruelly," said the lady distractedly. "It would, on the contrary, be to confer us on a very great deal of great kindness at the moment when we most need it. My daughter has just been disappointed by a cruel misfortune in a visit from which she had long anticipated a great deal of happiness. If you confide this lady to our care, it will be her best consolation." Now this is clever. This is clever. I like this. Instead of making it look like we are just trying to be good hosts, we're saying, actually, if we take in your daughter, our own daughter, won't be bored anymore, and it will be so good for us because it's very difficult having a bored young lady. Making it so that you are helping them instead of being the person asking to be a good host, that is incredibly clever. I like that. The nearest village on your route is distant and affords no such inn as you could think of placing your daughter at. You cannot allow her to continue her journey for any considerable distance without danger. If, as you say, you cannot suspend your journey, you must part with her tonight. And nowhere could you do so with more honest assurances of care and tenderness than here. There was nothing in this lady's air and appearance so distinguished, and even imposing, and in her manner so engaging. Okay, Dracul, you have a happy lurk. I haven't set up anything like lurk bot or anything, but we'll get there, and I hope you lurk happily. As to impress one, quite apart from the dignity of equipage, with a conviction that she was a person of consequence. By this time the carriage was replaced in its upright position, and the horses quite tractable in the traces again. Oh! The horses are fine. Excellent work, horses. Some self-preservation in a horse is nice to see. The lady threw on her daughter a glance which I fancied was not quite so affectionate as one might have anticipated from the beginning of the scene. Then she beckoned slightly to my father and withdrew 2 or 3 steps with him out of hearing, and talked to him with a fixed and stern countenance, not at all like that with which she had hitherto spoken. Piper Sensei! Oh my goodness! Hello! It's nice to see you. We're going to be streaming for another half hour. But it's lovely to see you pop in. I hope you're having a lovely day. Yes, it's lovely to see you pop in. I wasn't really sure how many people I would know would pop in. Well, how many people in general, really. But it's been a lovely turnout so far. It's quite heartening, very uplifting. Please keep your horse in the upright position when the carriage is taking off. Yes, absolutely. A horse in any other position is a disaster. Where was I? I was filled with wonder that my father did not seem to perceive the change, and also unspeakably curious to learn what it could be that she was speaking almost in his ear, with so much earnestness and rapidity. That one's a hard one. The word rapid, and then ity. So they're saying she is speaking quickly. Sorry if it sounded a bit garbled. I'm usually pretty good. 2 or 3 minutes at most, I think she remained thus employed. Then she turned, and a few steps brought her to where her daughter lay, supported by Madame Perrodon. I love saying that name, Madame Perrodon. It's just pleasant. She kneeled beside her for a moment and whispered, as Madame supposed, a little benediction in her ear. Then hastily kissing her as she stepped into her carriage. The door was closed. The footmen in stately liveries jumped up from behind. The outriders spurred on. The postilions cracked their whips. The horses plunged and broke suddenly into a furious canter that threatened soon again to become a gallop, and the carriage whirled away, followed at the same rapid pace by the 2 horsemen in the rear. Now, we have made it to chapter 3. What we could do, because we are at the 2-hour mark, what would you like to do? Should we stop here and come back at the start of chapter 3 tomorrow? Or should we read all of chapter 3? Because I just think it would be nice to keep it compact like that. How are we feeling, chat?